As you can see here, we're actually watching a Taoist ritual with some Taoist monks. It's very interesting because Taoism is considered a religion. Hey guys, welcome back to Cruising Through China, where I'm dedicated to showing you what China is like on the ground instead of just telling you so you can decide for yourself. Okay, so today's topic is, does religion exist in China? I think it's a good question, maybe one you've considered yourself, especially if you are a religious person. But I want to talk a little bit about what kind of religious beliefs exist in China and how do people practice these beliefs. So, to do this, I will be walking around today in a Taoist temple. Okay, maybe you've heard of Taoism or Taoism as it is called in China. But Taoism pretty much means the way or the path. And this is a very specifically a Chinese religion that exists. So it's different from the other religions that are conceived with it in some ways, such as Buddhism and Confucianism. Okay, so when you think of Chinese religions, you usually think of these three religions together: Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism. Though Confucianism is more like a social philosophy of China, but it has seeped its way through into the religious beliefs and qualities of the Chinese people. So I'll include that as well. But as you can see, we are walking through a beautiful Taoist temple. This is specifically found in Qingchun Mountain. Okay, this is one of the famous Taoist monasteries or temples within China. And there's a lot to see here. There's a lot of beautiful architecture here. Though I can't tell you when this was all made, as the story goes in China, because it's hard to describe when exactly temples and historical places were created because they've been destroyed and then rebuilt again. What you'll find is there are a lot of ancient looking temples that aren't actually very ancient. But nonetheless, the architecture is quite beautiful, and this is a very historical place within Chinese history, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is quite ancient. Some more details here. It looks like some very old artifacts, some statues, some old bells. Um, yeah, just a lot of old stuff. You can see from the architecture, the curved roofs, and the woodwork. Okay, very intricate, very interesting. The Chinese textures and colors all bring it together to create such a very beautiful temple. So, officially, I want to say China recognizes a few different religions, and I will put them up here. And they include Taoism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, and some others if I can remember. But these are the official state religions that exist in China. So all religions must be declared by the state as well. Here's a little sign showing us this Taoist artifact, this relic, this idol, I should say. But you can see the scene, and people here are actually praying as much as they are just taking pictures. And here is where people burn incense and also burn candles, which they can purchase right here in the temple. And they do this to call for blessings. People burn incense, burn candles, all to get some kind of blessings from the Tao. And a lot of the times they offer these candles and incense to their ancestry, to their relatives, the deceased relatives. And here is the famous Taoist symbol, which is the yin yang. Well, I'm sure many of you are familiar with, maybe understand what some of its meaning has. And it's pretty much shows the balance that exists between all duality. Okay, I'm not an expert in the topic, but I do have some interest. I've read a few books. It's definitely a very interesting topic. More I can go on into in a later video. But this concept of duality, of constant shifting and changing in ideals, is something that's deeply ingrained within the Chinese belief system. Here's a very interesting painting I want to show you. And it's interesting because I learned this myself. It's actually a painting of some Taoist ancients, okay? Some ancient deities, some ancient godlike people. 8 gods are crossing the river into immortality. Okay, so it's called Baxian Guo Hai. And so what that means is each immortal god shows their own special power. And I could really connect this back into the idea that Chinese people actually believe in individuals having their own power, their own unique traits when it comes to certain situations. And so this is how it kind of connects back to Taoism, and how the uniqueness of a person, what is innate within them, allows them to eventually succeed. As you can see, there's a lot of beautiful scenery. These rocks look like very natural rocks, and it's highly ornamentalized, it's highly decorated, sophisticated. As you can see, there's still maybe a bit more construction going on, but there's a lot of details, and maybe you would consider these details even similar to the ones you would see in religious temples in Japan. Japan has many other Buddhist temples as well. And so it definitely gets its influence from China, because a lot of Chinese culture, a lot of Chinese history and religion has spread to Japan through Korea. As you can see here, we're actually watching a Taoist ritual with some Taoist monks. It's very interesting because Taoism is considered a religion in China, and there are monks, there are people that can help you. You can pray for blessings, you can pray for specific purposes. I'd like to tell you specifically that Chinese people are a little bit abstract in their religious beliefs, actually. Though a lot of them would believe in the idea of Taoism because it's so entrenched within the culture. This duality that exists for Chinese people, they always see one thing coming in and one thing going out, always motion, always movement. And so, what people mostly pray for and want blessings for is to receive benefits in their life, to receive money, to receive the best qualities, to receive a good test score. Okay, I'm not going to elaborate any further because that's pretty obvious, right? Why people would pray for those things. But it definitely can seem superficial at times. It could seem a little bit materialistic at times, just to proceed or get some benefit out of something. And that's why people would pray. But the final thing I want to show you here is a donation box. And you have a couple of different ways to donate. One being through QR code, which you can scan and effectively donate just as you would with any cash in the box. So that's quite interesting.